Academia came out too, their trailer.
Oh, nice. That would have been a good one to show too. We don't hit as much manga on here as I feel like we could, especially with how popular it is now. There's just so much stuff coming out, like they adapt everything. But yeah, no, it's a good day to be on stream. We made it again on a Friday. Happily. And we had the Joker this last week. We got a bunch of new stuff in the fall time coming. There's stuff coming up, but till then we're kind of stuck with.
Yeah, I'm there's cited for the Adams Family. Looks pretty good so far.
I'm looking forward to it.
Reviews have been good so far.
Have you seen? I've still got to get into it, but Raising Dion. Have you checked it out?
Oh yeah, it's a comic book.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's you can still buy it. It's a what do you call it? It's a print on demand book. So if you want, you can.
That's cool.
Pick it up from their store still. And if you check it out, it looked pretty good. I wanted to watch it.
It's funny enough that and I'd heard about it before. I think from you, and then from different comic forums and just different ads. But my mother started watching it at randomly, so she's like, "I really like it." I was like, "Yeah, I figure you would. It's a superhero universe. You don't have to know anything about it." So, and that's cool. I mean, I like the idea. It seemed like a cool concept with just like this young kid with powers. I mean, it's not like it's super new, but I think it's supposed to be more kind of slice of life kind of stuff. But it looked interesting, so like I want to check that out. That's on my list. Shield just finished their other season. That one wasn't too bad.
Isn't that about to end, right?
Yeah, it's got one more season and then it's done. Which at least they're ending. Like some shows don't know when to end.
Ghost Rider show's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
They are going though with the Hellstrom show.
Which is so interesting to me that you would go with someone who's not established and doesn't have as big a fan base.
They didn't think it was going to happen either because there was no casting for quite a while, and they just released the casting, I think, a few days ago.
I mean, yeah. Even beyond like casting and stuff, like I said, it's just like, why would you make Hellstrom over Ghost Rider? Ghost Rider has more fans. Ghost Rider has a bigger market. Ghost Rider has prior exposure. Yeah. I don't see why they would do it. I mean, it's cool, and I'm interested-ish in a Hellstrom one. Honestly, I think they're doing it to rip off the Lucifer series a little bit. Not to like rip off, but just kind of capitalize on that because that's been pretty popular enough that it got brought back on Netflix. It's actually pretty good, and it's very much in line with the Sandman universe.
Yeah, that's why. So hopefully they finally. Well, they are finally going to do the Sandman with Netflix as well.
Yeah, so
after that's been in limbo for like
years,
10 or maybe even longer than that.
Oh, probably. I mean,
the last one I heard that they were gonna try to do is a movie, and it's supposed to be with even Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Have
you ever seen Looper?
Yeah.
The younger actor, he was supposed to play the main character.
I mean, I guess I could see it.
He's a pretty good actor. I like him. But
nice.
That fell through, of course. Man, now finally, it looks like Netflix is.
I think we're finally at the point though now that less films fall through than go through. It used to be the other way around, where more films that you thought were coming.
Well, there's just so many things that get greenlit in comic book worlds, and that just nothing really happens. Like there's this one that I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Sixth Gun.
No.
That's another one that's been talked about to be made for years, and it's fallen through so many times.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, sometimes it just takes time. I mean, how long did we wait for a Deadpool movie?
Oh, a long time. I just sometimes some people say though that some companies they just like to buy the rights so that no one else studios that's really the truth.
And it also builds some buzz for them. It's like, oh, they bought the rights, so they're going to make a movie, and then those people will start watching their stuff or looking into them.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can see it. It does suck for people who want those things. Like the Valiant guys have been waiting for Bloodshot to be a movie,
and that went down the hill now too.
Yeah.
Because who just bought the rights? It's like. They just split the rights now to them, and I'm like,
some of the characters
they just had it all like they were gonna do a whole universe thing, and now they after that by
selling it. Yeah,
and I'm like, why?
Which is so weird to me because Valiant, in my mind, is much like Image in the fact that it's like independent, so it's supposed to like value its like core integrity a little more, but it doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of Valiant fans are very disappointed.
Oh yeah,
I wanted to check it out,
which is so funny because they're. Hey, it's Carlos. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, because I liked Man of War. I read a little bit of that.
It's pretty good. The 2011 run was pretty decent. I think that's the one I started
on.
Yeah. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It had some
good quotes. Then goes into
future.
Space.
Yeah, gets space future.
suit.
Comes back. and the world's different. It's interesting. I like it. Like, they have good titles, which is why I read on and off for a little while. Yeah. But once again, I
want to
always
check out Ninja. Is it Ninja?
Ninjak, yeah. It's actually Ninja K.
Oh, okay.
But it's called Ninjak because Ninja K. But yeah, at least it's funny because I've read even less of that, but I know that fact just because of like randomly reading through Valiant shit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Valiant universe.
Yeah, I'm interested. I think it would be a good time to do our no spoiler review. Get it out of the way.
Oh, the Joker. Yeah.
So we can cover.
I liked it. If what would we do in the scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10?
I usually do 1 to 10. It just gives you a little more wiggle room.
I'm gonna go with 8 clowns.
Yeah, 8 clowns. That's actually exactly what I thought when I saw it. I find it funny when we come to those conclusions without talking at all about it. It's like, yeah, I think this is an 8. Even walking out of the theater, I was like, this is a really good movie. It's not as outstanding as I thought it would be. Now, that's just as an overall movie. Now, if we're talking about individual pieces, the cinematography is probably a 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Which is very rare.
The whole scene, too, where he's doing the dancing.
At the end?
When he finally puts on the makeup and then he goes
going down the stairs. I was really mad they changed the song from the trailer. They did in my theater, at least. Did you get the Gary Glitter version?
Because that's what I heard.
Gary
because
Glitter,
it's a pedophile, right? Killer.
Which is like, if you did every song like that.
I'm actually not too sure what played now. You would have to play
it was
for
dun,
me.
Dun, 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 dun,
I think they did play it.
They did play it. Did they play it in your one?
Yeah, I think they did play it.
In my one, they changed it. They actually subbed out the song for the...
Could you hear the difference of like them subbing it out, or was it just kind of clean?
No, I mean, it was 100% a different song.
No, I'm just saying, like, when they subbed it out, though, like, there's a very clean...
I mean, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Because there's no talking.
But my question is, did the theater do this, or did
I don't know.
That's them, yeah.
Either way, it's actually very easy, because that scene is entirely non-dialogue.
Yeah, just play
so all you do is fade in and fade out the music.
Yeah, that's true.
But... I don't know, but at my theater...
Where did you go see it?
Harkins. So I'm not sure. And I don't know if that's like a nationwide press, because there were a lot of talks about it being removed. I heard
about it too, yeah.
But I didn't know until I got out of the theater and saw it, and I was like, why is it a different song than they had in the fucking trailer?
I'll have to play the trailer again and see if I remember it.
Oh, I know. I mean, I remember the kind of song, because it's actually a very classical...
What did they play instead?
Let's see.
Do you know?
I can't remember
you said it's very classical?
Oh, the original song they used, the Gary song.
Well, no, the one they changed.
The one they changed it to is one of those ones they play at like hockey games or like football games where it's like dun 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 dun.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think they did play that one for me.
Yeah, they did for mine, and it very much took away from the scene. I feel like one, because I knew in the trailer that was synced, and two, the syncing didn't work as well. Like that dancing scene is danced to that song. The hits are very specific.
What? I think I did. Yeah, I watched the original because the way he was going with the song
is
like,
and it's not like this other one doesn't match at all, but the energy and tone is not the
same. Yeah.
No, and the whole movie is classical except for that one
like
song. So that really ruins the motif.
I don't like that sometimes.
And then the fact
not because sometimes it would be used for scenes that really had no use for them in the end. You're like, well, there was no significance to this. Why did you play this loud music really quick? And I'm like, well, what happened here? Nothing really.
There's no tense drama, and that's a very important. We've talked about the importance.
I did hear about a couple people say about the reviews on that too.
But and it's so fucked because sound is so important to film. Mm-hmm. Like music and score is intensely important to a film. And anyone who doesn't believe that, just watch a film with just subtitles and see how it goes, because it's very much similar to.
Well, I always like to use I guess the best one would be from Halloween.
Yeah. I don't know. My biggest example is always Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Yeah. Those themes, now while they may not, the movies themselves are also great in much in the same way that the original Halloween is, but Halloween is the same way. Those tones make the movie stand out. It gives the movie a sound that is unique and themed.
Yeah. John Carpenter was not very happy until he did that music, because when he watched the whole thing, they were like, "This is crap."
Well, because without the tense music, it's boring. It really can't. And most of it's like that. That's why even in the old silent film days, you would have people playing music to the film, live piano, and usually reacting and doing to what was happening.
It did help that he was a composer.
Yes, that always does help. But no, it really is interesting for me how important those things are and how that little difference really throws that scene off from being his like exultant, triumphant thing to being like now it's like at a hockey game. Basically, is how I felt when I'm watching him dance down the stairs, which is not how I think that the film's makers intended me to watch the film. And as much as people complain, yes, the pedophile killer. Well, we're watching a movie about a insane killer clown. I don't think that it's quite out of tone with the rest of the murder. Granted, there's really not that much violence in the movie.
No, it's dark, but it's just it's not.
It's really
a
mental movie. Very much mental darkness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of I feel like there was a lot of society reflection in this movie.
Well, yeah,
that's undertones.
Like I was telling you that, especially the things around him had, there was like a domino effect, each and everything led him to be this character. I didn't feel sympathy or empathy for the character, but I understood how he came to be
I could somewhat empathize with the character, and I think that kind of pulls, like I said, I'm very much a fan of the Joker depiction where he is this psychotic, just psychotic, mindless, and maybe not even in the like violent way, but in the way that all social norms, all societal rules and stuff like that, everything is out the window with him. Anything that you would expect from a normal person, you cannot expect. You might get it from him, but you can't expect it from the Joker. The Joker's
favorite scenes are the ones where he's gonna shoot you with the gun and it just bang and it's just a little thing and he just effing with you.
Yep, yeah, he's like
I like
ha, you know what I mean? Those are great, like, because that's who he is. Oh, and like I said, we can't ruin the thing, but like, one of the great examples is the Joker doesn't just want to kill everybody. That's not his goal. Yeah. He kills people because he thinks it's funny. That's why he kills people. And I think that this movie, while it doesn't follow that thing, very much still falls in line of the Joker doesn't just kill people to kill people most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's some reason in his crazy, deluded mind that's necessary. Or
sometimes mostly to irritate bats so he can
that's a big one. Especially in the Joker that is nowadays, you know what I mean? But this one was cool. I felt like there were a couple of missed opportunities since it is its own standalone Joker film.
Yeah, that's why I said I felt like something kind of could have been added to it.
Yeah.
Especially to the final act.
Yeah, the final act is really the weakest part of it, and it's probably why it only I think if the final act had been a little more up-ramped, I would have gotten probably maybe even another point for me. Just because of the finish. Because I felt like the finish was good cinematography-wise, symbolically and stuff, but it didn't give me that sense of, I guess, fulfillment or thrill from the whole thing. Like, I wanted more. Like, there was a pretty good part at the end there, ish, and we can't say too many specifics because spoiler, but where he really, like, goes off. But for me, like, probably even with that being a highlight of action, like, the highlight of the whole thing is probably either this, the scene where he realizes he's crazy, or the scene where he really does, like you said, throw it all on and become the Joker and walk out and, like, that's him.
Yeah.
Having said that, like it said, it's still really, really good. Like,
I
really can't stress enough how much I was impressed by the cinematography. It's just, there is no equivalent superhero movie with anywhere close to this.
Are those stairs the same stairs from The Exorcist?
I have no idea. They probably are, because
the same stairs.
They probably are, just because I'm sure
I've
never
seen
happy.
stairs that long, except for in The Exorcist.
I mean, they're around. They're but
in the movie, like,
I think it's just that specific style, because like you see the stairs from Rocky. You know what I mean? There are different stairs,
but like
that stairway,
like it looks like an alley though. With the stairs
all the way down. Yeah, and it's very picturesque. They picked some really good shots as far as that kind of stuff. Framing,
there's some good city shots in there.
And I think that was one thing that they really stressed on this, because they weren't focusing heavily on CGI, because they weren't focusing on fighting. They had time to focus on these dramatic film perspectives and things that are, about capturing the scene as opposed to capturing the action or capturing, you know what I mean? There were lots of good stuff. It had the comedy, like we talked about how it had less maybe comedy than some of the other Joker depictions, but that it was still there. I think of the scene in his apartment where he's like, I'm a really good dancer. You know who's not? That guy.
Yeah.
That was great. You know what I mean? And we're trying to keep less spoilers, but it's just it was overall pretty good. I still would definitely recommend watching it. Don't think Joaquin Phoenix will get an Oscar for it. Maybe.
We'll see.
The Academy tends to follow what the Academy wants to do, so it never really reflects how we as people feel about it.
Yeah, if anything, the film will probably get something at least.
Yeah, I do assume the film, for at least its cinematography or some part of that, will get something, because it really is outstanding. I would say that's what really pushes it out in my mind, even above the story or the fact that it's an individual villain-focused build of this dark kind of centered.
I do like that it was different, though. That's for sure.
It definitely was refreshing.
Which we've normally...
Yeah, well, we've kind of fallen we've fallen into a bit of a rut with superhero movies that I'm hoping the new wave will tackle a bit, where they're going to go out and try these different TV shows with more side-ish characters.
They feel like they can take more risks now.
They've got to take more risks, especially in the point that especially with Marvel having done so well, not every film has to be super successful. You can have one or two stinkers as you experiment around with these ideas. And really, that's what they did in the early days when they had these really good movies. You had Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. And they were like, well, now we have room to experiment a little. Let's try some kind of little different shit, which didn't always work out in some cases. In some cases, it did. Thor 2. But
Iron Man 3.
But then you get stuff but then you got the jumps to Ant-Man. You had the jumps to Guardians. And these were ideas that you really could have just lost all your money on. You know what I mean? They could have just not went bankrupt, but they could have lost all the money they invested on those films just because they had very little fan base. They were newish characters. And I feel like they need to do that again, where and they kind of are, it's Shang-Chi and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're taking a little bit of cool. I'm very much guessing that those are going to be very culture centric in the way that Black Panther was. That they're going to focus very heavily on the cultural aspects of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to go about that film.
It's definitely, that one is the risk for me in this new phase. Everything else is kind of a little bog standard, maybe a little cool here and there, that new ideas, but really Moon Knight, and a lot of those are TV
really
series.
Knows about, but I mean, there is still a strong fan base for him.
He does have a strong fan base, just not a very big fan base. He's, people will get all mad if you call him Marvel's Batman, but
I always call him Marvel's Batman. The only thing that makes him different is just he has these multiple personalities.
That's pretty much. Well, he's also ultra violent. He has the whole Khonshu connection. He's individual. But if you break him down into what he is at his base, he's Marvel's Batman. He's white Batman. Batman white. No. But I think they have a lot of room, and especially with the comics also focusing on the villains, that might be the path for the future.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like some Marvel centered.
I'd love a Doctor Doom movie.
Yeah. Did you read the new Doctor?
I thought it's leading somewhere, which is cool. That's the thing. Right now, it's kind of setting up good prospects for the future. There's interesting things going on in the time.
How did his face get messed up again? I can't remember.
The villains all ganged up on him.
That was so messed up.
I just kind of felt like that shouldn't have been enough to send him back into being straight. And that was my thing, is I was okay with him even going back to be a villain, but be a different kind of villain. Evolve the character just slightly, keep him Doctor Doom, and then add something I don't know, maybe now Doctor Doom is trying to take control of every other villain on Earth for his own means or some shit. Because he's never really even been a villain. He's always been an anti-hero. He's very much an antagonist, but not a villain.
He's done bad, he's done good. And
he's done everything in between, but really his motivations lie in Latveria.
Yeah.
And staying king and attaining ultimate power. Those are his three big goals. But at the end of the day, he wants to protect Latveria and usually help the Earth. He's usually not bent on destroying the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's one of those villains, much like Magneto, that just has these other motives. And it's not even a villain, an antagonist that has other motives and is not in the truest, strictest sense of villain. He's just kind of dark and has very much not the moral high ground that we ascribe to superheroes and people that we consider good. Speaking of, I'm very interested in how that whole Powers and House of X is going to go in the new X-Men stuff.
Oh yeah, next week. Are you gonna... I don't know if you want. Next week I'm going to go to the midnight release.
What day is it?
That'll be on Tuesday.
Might be able to do Tuesday. It depends on if I get off work in time.
So it'll be Tuesday. at least 11:30 to be there, and then they sell the books at midnight.
Yeah, I'd be down for that because I usually get off around 9 or 10, so I just have a little time.
I was gonna go check it out. Maybe grab me some extra covers.
I'd be down for this run. This run's gonna be
it looks good.
Really good.
I'm excited to see.
Did you see all the different titles they have coming?
Yeah, so they got new X-Men, New Mutants, X-Men,
Marauders.
Fallen Angels, X-Force.
What do you think Fallen Angels is gonna be? That's the big question. I've been hearing around.
Psylocke and is that what's her name? Laura? Is Laura in there?
I don't know. I haven't even checked the covers. I've been trying to purposely kind of like stay away from it so I can just like be brand new into this new world of X-Men that's been created. But the X-Men comic stuff was really cool. I really liked the whole Wolverine and Moira at the end of the universe thing.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mind.
Right, because the whole time
they kept it blank the whole time because even in the what was it like issue 3?
Yeah, when they had the full timeline. They did it like in 4 different issues where they would continue.
That's why I gotta read it again because like that's the whole time that he was talking to them.
Yes, he's like just. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like Hickman does great writing like that. That circular loop writing. Everything goes back to the beginning. It's all.
Well, when I read the last, what was it, Power of X? Yeah, because it literally would just started like it was.
Yes, just like it was House of X. Like and House of X, did the same thing.
It just added that one extra panel into
right 2 panels where
he showed the 6th life.
Of Moira.
So I was like, oh, that's So, okay.
But that's why it's cool because like every other chapter you would get one where it's like, oh well, now we've seen this, so we reveal that that's the 8th life of Moira Tag or Apocalypse or whatever, and so it's very interesting. You know, I've heard there might be some ties between the fact that this is Moira's 10th life and that it's the 10th iteration of the Marvel Universe.
I mean, he set it up now where now it's kind of open
to do whatever. Yeah, I mean, he's still going to be helming it for the next.
Well, yeah, he's doing X-Men, and then I've heard that literally nobody can
write
do
anything about him
unless he writes off on it.
Which is really how it should be. I mean, it sucks when you get someone bad in charge, but when you have someone like him in charge, I mean, pretty much he's only going to let good shit through.
Yeah.
He's especially, I feel like this as a like editor, I'll be more critical of other people than even myself a lot of the time because I know that I'm approving it, so I've got to make sure it's 100%. Like at the end of the day, if it goes out, it's on me to make sure that it's high quality.
So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see I just really see if they kind of start when they do X-Men now with the Marvel. I want to see if this is where they're going to start off right here.
I've heard some really interesting theories.
I've heard some people that they even did this for a reason to kind of set it up for their movies.
I don't know, man.
It's the rumors are going around. So
it very much could because Marvel's nowadays is all about that long plan, especially when it comes to the cinematic.
Yeah, like I said, if they have one thing coming out, they usually like right now, Joker. Joker, the comic just literally came out this week for this, and on top of that, there was that I wanted to check it out, but it was the Sinister.
Sinister.
It was like a $9 book, but it was like a big.
It's like 70 or 80 pages, or it's probably 100 with everything.
But yeah, they have Vampire Batman in it.
So is that one in there? It's a collection of small stories, so I hadn't checked it out yet.
But they said it's a little bit about Joker in there too. So
that'll be cool. Again, I'm always interested to read Batman.
And then
Joker
on top
stories.
of that, they just came. I haven't read it yet, but I checked out some of the pages. Oh my god,
Joker and Harley Quinn,
so beautiful. Have you checked the interiors?
I haven't checked. I saw the thing and just hadn't gotten to it yet. My thing is it's very hard for them to write those two together right now because of.
Oh yeah, what's going on? Well, see, then I'm not paying attention to what's kind of going on with that. It's
it's not even just that. It's been this way for like 5 or 6 years, but the whole abusive relationship.
Yeah, I hope that it's not going to be like this because I was looking through a little bit and it kind of, I don't know, it looks different. You have to check it out.
I'll definitely have to check it. It's on my list. There's only a couple I need to get to. I got to most everything
but that looked really good. The artwork done by Mike Mayhew. And he does all, I think he does watercolor.
Who is it? Someone was talking, let me see, I think I gotta check my little forum thing, but he was talking about some alt covers and he mentioned this artist. I was like, wait a minute, that's Scotty Young.
Oh, I love Scotty Young.
I was like, I know that guy. How do I know? Oh, Because Izzy told me about him.
Like
and he's like, yeah, I got these covers. I was like, oh yeah, dude, Scotty Young is...
He's he's been doing all the X-Pox. Have you seen some of his Scotty, his cartoons for his variants for this?
The cartoon
My
variants
favorite
really
one was
funny.
the one where, they finally revealed about the because they even had the bubbles where the dot like blocked off when it was revealed at first because it revealed some important stuff. But anyways, this is Professor X and the big old Cerebro head, and he's talking I think to Sinister, and he goes, "Okay, we told you to keep a collection of all the mutants in the world, but we didn't tell you to keep Bone Claw." And it's like Wolverine looking all weird and because he's like a hodgepodge of like weird things.
That's true.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. So he does some cool little things.
Speaking of, we were talking about. You remember we were talking last time about Namor's new stuff going on? I finally got to Invaders.
Yeah, I told you it's all in there, right?
Yep.
I told you all this stuff was happening in there. I just haven't. I
hadn't checked it out. It's very interesting how it goes though, because it ties in with Professor X.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yes, very lightly, but yeah.
I heard it was good.
It's actually quite impressive.
But
it's a little drawn out.
It's ending in December, I think.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a little drawn out. It needs to be ended. Because the first 6 or 7 chapters are very, very good, and then the last 3 are just
those are
pretty good.
Characters I really don't care about too much, so that's why I've been pushing it.
Yeah, I like Namor, so he's always been on my read list.
I'm starting to kind of like him a little bit more, but again,
I like Namor for the same reason.
I just don't like Aquaman or like those
right, kind of and the reason you like Namor is because even though his power set is the same as Aquaman, you basically imagine Doctor Doom as Aquaman. Yeah. Because that's how Namor acts. He's just like this massively prideful.
Oh, yeah.
You also add to the fact that Namor is actually a heavy hitter. Even compared to... I mean, Namor has knocked the Hulk out a couple times.
They do make him kind
even in the past. Like, now he's even heavier. Like I said, in the past, he's knocked out the Hulk on a couple occasions. He's fought toe-to-toe with Thor and a couple other people. He's very much always been...
Well, I guess that does make sense why he's tied to Professor X. I mean,
he is the mutant, yeah. So. And that's really what it comes down to is... Because you're not going to read it, I assume.
Well, I'll read it. I have
eventually.
The books. I'll eventually get to this.
You got like 11 of them now, or how many are there?
Yeah,
12? That's a lot of books to have and not have read any of them.
I read the first one, and then I stopped after
that. The first one was okay. It was a nice introduction. It really gets the meats and potatoes probably like 3 or 4, and it doesn't give the breakdown until about 8 or 9. It's a very long arc. Like, really long.
I want to see that what this is about.
I'm just surprised they gave it a 12-issue run. Like, I get it, but I think it would have been done better in 6.
Yeah, so that's ending. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur just ended.
I still haven't been... I couldn't get into that one. I think it's just not meant for me.
It's not... It is really meant for the younger crowd, readers. Yeah. But I picked it up because it is a brand new character. And
I mean, I read the first,
there's a couple issues that were some money in the run. Because there's actually a first appearance of Wilson Fisk's daughter in there.
Oh, that's interesting.
And there's a first appearance of another... like Celestial that people are making a big deal about. I see this. I haven't got to that
right. I did. I probably read the first 5 or 6 because I remember.
I read the first maybe 20 issues and then right there stopped and they're like on issue 40.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
I was surprised how far it even went.
I'm not because she is a very likable character. For the kids, she would be great. She's a great kids character.
Well, they were really pushing her for Scholastic.
And I think that was the other reason I kind of got pushed off. Is they're like, she's the smartest girl in the universe. But we're not going to tell you why. We're just going to say
still, trying to make her the smart. Like, did you read the Fantastic Four issue where she kind of came in for?
Yeah, with the Valeria and her would kind of go. It was very interesting. But that's what gets to me is like, all right, she's the smartest person in the universe, but she has not nearly the number of feats and different crazy things. Like, I need a reason why she's. Yeah. I need her to come in and have like half of Reed and Black Panther and everyone stumped, and she's like, "Oh, you guys are idiots. This is how you do it." And she does 2 things and it fixes it. And that would solidify it a little better for me. Because right now, a random editor's note mixed with some of the minor accomplishments, realistically, that she's done. Like, she does great stuff, and especially as for a kid. But then I point to people like Valeria and other people who are also young and superiorly smart, at least until recently. I just want it to be confirmed and given a reason.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they gave her was that, what was it? Would they call it? The Hulk Cube or...
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called. The Banner Cube or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was supposedly something that even Reed Richards himself couldn't even figure out how to open it up. And she figured it out in I can't remember how long. That's one of their
Which is cool, but it's also one of those things.
And they did bring it up. I don't know if you remember that they kind of talked about it in Fantastic Four too. Because she talks about like, hey, remember, I'm the smartest person.
But she says, I'm smarter than your dad. I figured she's like, me too. I figured out
that yeah, see, so that's what she was talking about. That's that scene because they did it in.
And I mean, that's cool at all, but that doesn't really like measure up to 30 years. That's honestly
the only thing I got.
It's very much along the lines of Squirrel Girl for me, where it's like, all right. I'm calling some bullshit. They tried to do
some cool things where she did make her own like what the hell did they call it? It was like this weird like I can't remember.
Like she does cool stuff. Since I just think that they gotta amp it up a bit. Like you remember, like we've got Reed and even Pym and other people doing cosmic and universal level shit.
Oh yeah.
On the regular,
well, that's why I was saying they brought in that Celestial, so I'm curious on where that all went.
Right, so I'm sure they'll get there, but it's just one of those things where I'm like,
it's still working.
I need more.
It's still working,
and I need it to not be like a Nancy Sue because I said so kind of thing. It's got to be like, okay, we got into this very situation of like ultimate events proportions, and this is the only little girl in the world who's smart enough to save the day. And I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with her being the smartest person in the universe. Just like I was fine with it being whoever they had it as before. I just need a reason. Reed just has so many feats, as does Doom, and that's why they're slotted up there. Valeria very much in the kind of side.
I did like that quote from Doom where he says, he's like, Reed is, what was it? He said, he called Stark reckless, and he called Reed,
was it arrogant or
what was the word? I just like that whole scene right there. That was a cool little scene, and he's just trying to make himself like I'm pretty much superior than both of them because of their.
Like I said, and that's why Namor is so great because he's just like Was it the one I have because I've been cutting the quotes. I got 4 months now, 4 months worth of comic quotes. So I'm working my way steadily towards that year. And then we're gonna publish them all. No, like not at once, but I'm gonna have them all set. You
don't have to worry about doing them all at. Oh yeah.
And then hopefully have time to do it again, where I have a month and can just kind of stack them up. But I took some runs,
things here and there too.
Yeah,
keep it alive.
I appreciate it. But that Avengers run where you think it's so funny. He's just like Captain Marvel like punches him as hard as she can in the face. He's like, every wench in the sea would give their life to lay hands upon the flesh of Namor. Be thankful for the privilege you've been granted. And she's just like gross, and he's like, and never presume to touch my person again, and headbutts the shit out of her.
Oh my god.
That's just Namor. That's who he is. He's just like, all others may fail, but I am Namor. I was gonna say I probably gotta cut it a little short today, just because I got stuff to do. But really, it's been a pretty good week for comics. There was some pretty decent stuff, Justice League and
I've been reading this other book called Battle Bug.
Yeah, you told me. I read the first chapter.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Trump.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That was so perfect because I am Kavafi, and I'm like, oh my god,
I am Coffee.
I was like, that.
It was like you just murdered our regular mayor and tried to. And said that you're the leader now. It was like,
oh my gosh.
It's like, well, why should I be worried about it? Turns into a giant bear.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was like, funny. Is that supposed to be cute?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Putin Trump.
Like, oh my gosh. This is ridiculous.
That shit was so funny. I was so happy when I read that. I was like, I gotta check out the second chapter, but it just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah, the second one was pretty good. He, I guess he had defeated a Santa Claus character, but then it's pretty cool. I like it. It's very mythical, and it involves like just wacky kind of characters like Santa Claus.
I enjoy that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Where it's big giant puggy, right?
Yeah, like the giant puggy rides, which is great.
And then they have 2 little dogs. And
little bugs.
And then it's cool. I like it. It's a good little read. I guess it was a web comic at first.
It happens a lot of good web comics get released.
They just released like a big giant compendium of
all of it. I think that was. I did hear about that when it came out because there was a whole big.
It came out the same time, I think.
Yeah, it was the new one. It was like a they just use
because if you read the first one, you're like, well, wait, they're talking about some shit that happened before.
In the first, it's like, what? I have no idea.
It's
like,
the first issue. What
the fuck's going on here? No, I do that all the time with comics. I'm like, oh, now I gotta go read the old comics. Especially manga have some of those where like I read a manga and it's like, we meet again. Like, wait, when the fuck did you meet? What do you mean 20 years? That's a whole nother book. Now I gotta read a whole nother book. No, but it's been a good week for it. Let's see, there was some new manga. I saw Post-Apocalyptic Survival Guide.
I gotta go watch Dr. Stone came out today too.
Oh yeah, how do you like that?
Oh, I've been loving.
I really love the science, man.
I love
it. It's very much.
The last episode I watched was the sulfuric acid.
Okay,
and I just like how they kind of depicted it. It was like, because they were so mysterious to them that the guy just, he's seen it as like this evil, or like a pretty girl, because it was so mysterious to him. And he's like an unknown thing to him. He's like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then it turns into this like, it's gonna kill you, bro. Don't get to it. Yeah. And I'm like, those are cool. I like those.
I like the whole concept. It reminds me a little of Cells at Work, where it's like, yes, it has its own story and stuff, but really, like, the subplot of it is to teach you science.
Yeah,
it's like to teach you all these little things.
I love that too. The part of it. I love. Yeah, it's really interesting.
You know, another one that's like that is Golden Kamui.
Ooh, I haven't seen that one.
It's really good, actually. I've told people I read the manga probably a year before the anime came out, and it's still coming out in manga form. It's so surprising how fast they catch up, man. Like, it's 170 chapters, and they already almost caught up on the first season 2 of the manga. Quick. It was pretty good. They did cut away a lot of like excess, not like excess stuff in the manga, but just like excess shit other manga would have had, like long landscape scenes and shit. They're just not in there most of the time. But the basic premise is like the not Inuit, I can't remember what the actual population, but the native population of Japan, the actual Native American population, kind of what had this is right around the Russian Japan war, has been like displaced and had like found all this money or like this gold, and then had been like attacked and it had been stolen. So now they're like searching for the gold, these soldiers and like random people. And it is this whole story about like searching for the gold and the mystery of who killed who and who is who. But at the same time, it's really like an in-depth explanation of their like Japanese Inuit culture and like all the different spiritual beliefs and like hunting traditions and kind of things brought into the story. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but having more than just fight, no fight, act, like you got a universe build or like kind of explain or bring things up, and I think those are the ones that I really enjoy the best. That are the ones that are just like crazy mysterious. I love ones like that too. So it's funny that I like both ends.
I also too what just came out was that show Primal. With I can't pronounce his name. It's like Gennady Tartakovsky.
Oh yeah.
The guy who did Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack. It's about a caveman.
I do remember that. I didn't know that was the name of it. I knew he was coming out with like the caveman ammo.
Yeah, it's called Primal.
Is it out now?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I
What's
like
it on?
Oh, it's Adult Swim.
Okay, so I'll have to fucking check out the TV.
Yeah, so you have to record it or just check it out whenever it comes out.
No, I'm definitely up for it. I love everything he makes. He makes some really good quality shit.
It's good too because there's no dialogue really.
That's cool.
Because it's just all.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of typical of him.
Yeah, and it really gives. The title really works for what it really is.
It's so funny because
it's very primal.
It's so funny because I was just watching like a YouTube video explaining why like the Three Blind Archers episode of Samurai Jack is like one of the best episodes.
Oh, that's a really good episode. I do remember that. I watched it not too long ago. Yeah, it's good.
But they talk about it as like very much this journey through not just like sight and sound and then color and then lack of sight and sound. Very much an interesting like full film cartoon experience that you wouldn't get from any other series. Only Samurai Jack would do something like that. Playing with they had a bunch of stuff like that where they would play with shadows.
Disappointed with that ending.
I mean, I liked a little bit.
But then I was like, oh, come on, bro. Why the hell did you do that to our boy Jack? Like,
you got him, man. It's time loops, bro. Time loops. You can't.
Because it made sense too. Because I was like, oh yeah, everything worked out for the bro. Everything's cool, and then. Oh no, I'm disappearing. I'm like, oh no. Oh, that's right.
That's right.
None of this would have happened.
He killed Aku. No.
So yeah, I'm like.
But then they don't go into the time paradox that if she was never.
Yeah.
Or then how could she come back, help stop Aku, and then stop herself from being existent?
Yeah, like
time travel. But
last thing too, I want to ask: did you start Big Mouth?
No, I still haven't started the new season.
Yeah, the new season just
is it pretty good?
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. I think
the last season was kind of meh for me. I feel like it was pretty good, but I felt like the first season was better.
So season 2 was pretty good. Season 1, yeah, it was great. Season 3 is great too. Talk about a couple. There's one scene where they make Maurice. They take him back to the old times because they're talking about Dutch.
Oh, wow.
And how he loses his virginity to this first time ever, and it's Maurice's his hormone monster,
right?
And he's like has this like weird like old school
mustache,
yeah, and he's talking like in this like weird,
you gotta go back,
almost like that. But he's talking in like this weird 50s like accent, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so.
So that sounds funny.
You have to watch it.
I'll check it out. It's on my list. It's just that I have so much shit to catch up on.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. Like
I
haven't even catched up with Demon Slayer, and so I'll go do Dr. Stone today. Oh, Fairy Tail finally ended, but I am not done with it because Dub is still only got 2 more episodes, and so I'll see the next episode Monday, and then after that, next week after that will be the last one for me.
I will say it. I was talking with someone else about Fairy Tail recently.
Have you watched the whole thing, or have you just read?
No, I've read the whole thing. And honestly, it's so funny because the parts I don't like are not even the filler parts. It's actually a canon part. That it's actually the ending. The ending of the story is not all that great.
Well, we'll see how I'm curious to see if it's going to be the same.
Yeah, and that's what I really think is going to be.
Maybe they did change it because they were like, oh yeah, we did a bad ending on that manga. So
they really kind of fucked that one up because sometimes it's.
I'll let you know how it ends, and then if it's the same, well then we'll figure it out because right now
I think the ending is just very.
Well, to me,
it suffers from the same thing as the Joker. I think that the ending is not as climactic as the build to get there.
Yeah, well, to me, this season I feel like they were just doing so much in this last arc.
Yeah,
like, first it went from dragons. First it went to like these, wizards from Zeref, and then they all were gonna fuck up Magnolia, and then it started with that, and then after that, then we went from Natsu, who was actually not even.
Natsu the end, yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, and then from there we went to the Natsu and them fighting now Gray, and like, okay, what's going? All right, and then they finally beat all those guys. And then we went from there to, okay, Ursa has a mother now. And I'm like, this is this girl now. She gets the shit beat out of her now. Okay, now everything went back. And now we're talking about freaking Zeref has a son. Oh my gosh, what the hell's going on? There's too much.
They put a lot of shit in the last arc.
So, yeah, I'm at the part now where
and I think because it's all shoved in there, it just feels like anticlimactic. Yeah. You have all these threads, and some of them don't even get pulled. In the manga.
It was just too much for me, honestly. But
I think that was
that's what I wanted to say though before.
Yeah, this is good shit. We'll check out all these things, and hopefully we'll be back in another week with more stuff. Hopefully in another week or 2, I'll have all those memes finished. Probably not because there's a fuck ton to make. But very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be cool to make some memes. I've been wanting to, but it's hard to kind of like think, and then if you think about it on the spot, because like say you think of something right there, and you're like, oh, but I better write this down right now.
Exactly, and that's why I capture the moments and then have to come back to them and be like, what was I thinking again when I captured this? Like, oh, I wanted this quote, and half the time I get there, I'm like, this is not usable. This is not usable at all. It's like too small, or the framing's bad, or the scene doesn't look interesting, or like the quote's just not in the right My worst one are when they stretch pages to 2 or quotes to 2 pages where it's like, and you will be ... next page the end. It's like, no, I need the whole fucking quote, damn it. But yeah, we'll be back. Thank you guys.
Have a good one.
And stay frosty.